everybody, it's JetsCentral coming back with another video, and in this one I wanted to recap tonight's matchup between the New York Jets at the Cleveland Browns for a Thursday night primetime game, so everybody was watching, and the Browns walked away victorious. Final score 21-17. First thing I kind of want to start the video off with is just saying good game and congratulations to all the Browns fans out there that, you know, could be watching this video. Definitely a hard-fought victory, obviously being down 14-0, faced a lot of adversity, and definitely battled back in this, you know, in tonight's game. So congrats to you guys and enjoy the W, because it was definitely a hard-fought win. But man, oh man, from a Jets fan's perspective, I think this game was the definition of a complete implosion. I mean, the play calling on offense was absolutely horrendous, especially in the second half, just continuing to stick to the outside handoffs and not stretching the field not one time, not utilizing the middle of the field at all, which I felt like was a weak spot of the Browns defense, not making any halftime adjustments at all. The quarterback play was just awful. All in all, on offense, at least, very lackluster. Very lackluster. The penalties, I thought, killed us too. But I want to say this, you know, before I kind of start talking about the negatives, I want to start these videos off by at least talking about some of the good stuff I saw, you know, because in any loss, well, not any loss, but most of the time when your team loses, there are still some bright spots that you can kind of pick out and talk about. And I don't want to make a completely negative video here. So a few of the good things I saw from tonight's matchup: the New York Jets defense, I thought, did a pretty solid job, all things considered, right? Considering that this offense, the Jets offense, just kept going punt after punt after punt after punt, and looking at how long this defense was on the field for, playing against two quarterbacks, you never really prepare for that, and we have no tape on Baker Mayfield. I thought, you know, again, all things considered, that the Jets defense looked okay. You know, I thought we did a pretty solid job getting after the passer. That's one of the weak spots of the team. I thought the secondary did a pretty solid job. Now, all in all, we did catch some breaks, right? Antonio Callaway had that beautiful pass dropped. Jarvis Landry had the, you know, that one, you know, slant or that one crossing pattern when they were in the Jets red zone, just completely dropped. They would have picked up a first down. So we did catch some breaks, I will admit that, you know, but I think all in all, like I said, this Jets defense looked pretty solid. And I think if this, you know, you watch these games, man, you watch these games, and that's why I was actually so shocked when I watched the Jets versus the Lions, you know, because the defense played great, the offense played great, and the special teams played great. That's a really rare occurrence, you know, for at least our team, right, the New York Jets, where I always feel like whether we win or we lose, it's either the offense is carrying the defense or the defense is carrying the offense. And in recent years, it's mostly been the defense carrying the offense, you know, because we've had guys like Rex Ryan, Todd Bowles, obviously two defensive head coaches, and that's kind of where the majority of our draft picks have been, located, just defensive line, secondary, linebacking core, whatnot. So we definitely have more talent on the defensive side of the ball, and I still consider the New York Jets a defensive team. So overall, I did like what I saw from the New York Jets defense tonight. Yes, there were some areas to work on, like Browns guys getting open down the field, but at the end of the day, they have some talented players. You know, Callaway, who's electric at UF, Jarvis Landry obviously is one of the NFL's best wide receivers, you know, in the league. So all things considered, I like what I saw from the defense. Wasn't great, wasn't an A+ performance by any means, but I gotta say, I don't blame any of this. I don't really blame this loss on the defense whatsoever. Okay, whatsoever. I fully put this loss, I fully put this loss on the coaching staff, on the offense, right? The quarterback play, the play calling, it was just awful. And, you know, I guess we could start talking about a little bit about the negatives now. I think the minute Baker Mayfield entered this game, it just threw everything upside down, right? Mayfield entered and just came out slinging it. He was throwing deep. He was throwing intermediate. He was throwing short. The run game all of a sudden opened up, you know, when he was doing like the halfback draws from the shotgun. So I think once Baker Mayfield was inserted into the game, it kind of put the Jets defense back on their heels a little bit, because Tyrod Taylor doesn't really throw the ball consistently, or he's not an effective passer throwing the ball downfield consistently. You know, he doesn't do that at a high level or often, right? So the whole game plan going in, obviously Taylor was the starting quarterback, was probably load the box, keep Taylor in the pocket, don't let him escape and stuff like that. And I felt like the Jets did a pretty solid job of that. But like I said, as soon as Mayfield comes in the game, starts slinging it all around, I thought the offensive line for the Browns in the second half did very well protecting Mayfield, letting him have some time to throw. And really go through his full selection of reads. So I was actually really impressed by Baker Mayfield. He showed a lot tonight. I mean, he's definitely the storyline, right? If Browns win, Baker Mayfield comes in, definitely outplays Sam Darnold by a mile. I mean, he was completing more passes. The level of difficulty of throws that he was being asked to make, he was just spot on. And looking at his stats, they were almost a little bit skewed because, like we talked about before, Antonio Callaway had the drop, Jarvis Landry had the drop. So it is pretty discouraging seeing that. That the New York Jets, one little tweak of the Browns offense. I mean, I shouldn't call it little because it is the quarterback position, but something subtle like that. Just a new quarterback comes in the game, and all of a sudden the New York Jets team just looks it's just complete pandemonium on the Jets sidelines. The offense just looked out of whack. They weren't in sync. They had no rhythm to it, and it was weird because I was watching this game with my brother, and I said to him, like, because the Browns went down the field and they got that field goal, and at one point in the second half it was 14-6, and I looked at my brother and I'm like, it feels weird. It feels like there should be a sense of urgency right here because even though the Jets are up 14-6, it feels like for whatever reason that the Jets are down 14-21. It just feels weird, and I felt like the Jets just were not in sync. They weren't in rhythm on offense, and that just resulted in punt after punt after punt. The defense just had to sit on the field and mix that in with penalties and poor play calling. That's just a recipe for a disaster. Okay, so Baker Mayfield comes in and shines. Obviously completes a lot of passes, throws for a lot of yards, runs around, extends plays and stuff like that, and outshined Sam Darnold, the New York Jets rookie quarterback. But all in all, I'm hoping that this game was kind of like a appetizer for years to come. To hopefully see Sam Darnold and the New York Jets and Baker Mayfield with the Cleveland Browns. Both of these two franchises kind of rise at the same time because, as we all know, we were both picking top 5 this year. So that would be pretty cool to see down the stretch. But going back to this game, man, definitely frustrating. Definitely frustrating because we had this one. I really did feel like we had this one. Being up 14-0, getting the ball back in the second half, and I just felt like we squandered a real opportunity here. And I felt like the Jets in the second half, the coaching staff, they were a little bit caught off guard, and they just kind of went back into their shell a little bit, played a little bit more reserved, and just were completely shell-shocked and confused on the insertion of Baker Mayfield. So, I mean, complete implosion. Jets fall 1-2 on the season. And, pretty disappointing stuff. So we have the Jacksonville Jaguars next week on a Sunday 1 o'clock game in Jacksonville. So that game should be pretty tough. Jacksonville obviously has a great defense and whatnot. And let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Definitely a hard game to watch for sure. But, like I said, let me know your thoughts down below about, your thoughts on tonight's game, Browns fans, Jets fans. And, let me know. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say. And as always, thanks so much for watching. And I apologize for the loss because I was not expecting a game like that. And go Jets.